follow. 2 more. Straight up. Yes, sir. 1 more. Oh, yeah. Keep it going. Keep it going. How many more again? 11. Keep it going. Straight drills. Go back and keep your hand up. Finish.
My son shoots, and I rebound. Then we get breakfast, the best 2 hours of my week.
Good job.
I'm Rob Weingard. Like millions of parents, I coach youth sports in my hometown. My dad was a college coach and athletic director, and I played Division I basketball at Hofstra University.
If somebody's open, make a basketball play. Be aggressive.
Now I coach my 3 children, Crew in 7th grade, Stevie in 6th grade, and my little guy Jensen, who has just started 3rd grade. Our basketball season is hectic. But for many families, the sports seasons never end. Over the past 20 years, there has been a transformation in youth sports. What was once a community-oriented activity, stressing fundamentals and teamwork, has now become an industry based on individual competition and advancement. Parents pit children against each other, scrambling for an unrealistic dream of college scholarships. How did this become the new normal, and how will it affect our children as they grow into adults? To find answers, I went on a journey, seeking out other programs and experts in the youth sports field. Professionals like Bob Bigelow, former NBA player and now youth sports author and speaker, Dr. Rhonda Yoss-Kaplan, a child psychologist offering us a clinical perspective. Steve Nisenson, a camp director with years of experience in organized youth activities, who has guided generations of children to richer lives, including my brothers and me. And noted sports psychologist Rick Wolff, who hosts a weekly New York radio show, The Sports Edge, dealing exclusively with youth sports issues.
Welcome to this week's edition of Rick Wolff Sports Edge. I am your host, Rick Wolff.
Rick, the first question.
Yes.
How crazy do you think I am doing a youth sports documentary?
I don't think you're as crazy as perhaps some of the parents and coaches that you probably caught on film.
I agree to that.
Clearly, over the last 20 years, the level of insanity that has accompanied youth sports in this country is unprecedented.
Parents are putting their kids and scheduling their days every second of the day. Parents have them playing baseball. They go from baseball to karate. I would venture to guess that if I asked 20 kids at camp to go out and choose up teams, they wouldn't know what I was talking about.
The effects of not having free play are profound, especially in elementary school age children, but even into middle school. Play is how children work through the stresses and issues of their life.
When kids get together and play on their own, which they still do in minimal fashion, they always play action-based games. Everything revolves around action. When children play organized youth sports, they play rule-based games. Everything has structure. What these kids need is a lot more unstructure in their games. Figure it out on their own.
As playground and pickup games become extinct in many towns, the Catholic Youth Organization, or CYO, is a choice for basketball for many children. It serves the whole community with a simple 12-game schedule, moderate travel, and a reasonable cost to play.
Good. Turn around, face me.
In 7th grade, our group was divided into A, B, and C levels for the first time. trying to give each child a chance to play at their own level. I was assigned to coach the A team, which included my son, Crew. We got 1 hour and change every week to get everything in. And we start playing games probably in, I think, 3 or 4 weeks. So practice is very important. Hands up! Keep your hands up! Last one, Aiden. My team is made up of young athletes that will be trying to make their high school varsity programs in the next few years. We have several good players. Keeping local talent on hometown teams has become increasingly difficult. We now have to deal with a culture that believes that the best can only benefit by playing with the best, even if that means being on several teams in the same season.
This is, in very simple form, the evolution of travel. When the all-star syndrome takes over, our kids in this age group are too good now to be playing with the rest of the serfs at this age group level in my town. Let's go play someone else's town.
Fueled by the notion that the more you play, the better you get, kids spend hundreds of hours and spend thousands of dollars playing on travel teams, super leagues, and on teams run by the Amateur Athletic Union, or AAU, an umbrella organization overseeing hundreds of national programs. The core concept of AAU is simple. Pay to play and travel with youth athletes from other communities with the ultimate intent of showcasing yourself in front of college coaches. But is all the extra activity worth it? And at what cost? And how much commitment is left for young athletes to invest in any one team?
I play on 2 Super League teams, CYL and AAU.
I hope to make the school basketball team, volleyball, cross country, lacrosse, then town lacrosse, and this basketball team.
We have 6:30 practice. Look, the poor kid can't even stand up. It's 9:30 at night. But I don't blame him though, because he works his butt off.
I had a clinic yesterday for Lehigh, and I'm gonna have to do that for like 4 weeks. So, you know, I love basketball.
You enjoying this team?
Yes.
Yeah. These are your boys?
Yeah.
Hometown boys?
Yeah.
If you take a look on his right wrist, you know, take this bone is much longer than this bone, and they should be about the same length.
Oh, so this thing right here had to be taken care of, right?
So this one is now shortened. In our office, we always say, half jokingly, that the 2 most difficult types of patients to treat are the pro athletes and the 8 to 14-year-old child with a very involved parent. Most of the injuries that we see from pediatric sports injuries are acute trauma, fractures, ligament injuries, but the overuse injuries that, as an upper extremity surgeon, that we see are pediatric Little League elbow syndrome and gymnast wrists. And both of these injuries deal with kids injuring the same part of their body, whether it's the gymnast that's vaulting and tumbling and constantly loading their wrist, therefore causing damage to their growth plate, or the pitcher who's pitching too many games and is injuring the inside of his elbow, much like a pro pitcher would. Parents of high-level kids that are functioning in all these different leagues, generally between 8 and 14 years old, it's quite difficult. They're not fully healed yet, and the parents want them back for the playoffs. And it's a hard conversation to tell them that we want, you know, your son to be perfect for the rest of his life. It's not about these 2 more games. What are these 2 additional games, you know, going to do? And there's a big risk reward there, so that becomes frustrating.
I didn't know anybody when I was growing up who burned out when they were 12 or 13.
Right.
That's a relatively new phenomenon, and it's unfortunately part of this whole heightened or accelerated situation with youth sports. But when kids, they find themselves playing a sport all year round. And at first, it is great fun, it's great play, it's great enjoyment, but something happens over 2 or 3 years. It goes from being play to being work.
Sports are supposed to be a fun exercise, get out, interact with kids, not this idea that we're going to the NBA, we're going to get a basketball scholarship, we're going to do everything it takes to make... I mean, I'm talking to people that are building gyms in their houses so their kids can spend some extra time shooting.
From age 4 to 14, I had 10 years of athletic development. And people would say, what's that? Climbing trees, riding bikes, throwing balls, catching balls, chasing my siblings. A childhood of 10 years, an average of anywhere from 5 to 8 hours a day of play. That was my pre-MBA training.
Free play. You go out, you find someone to play with. You learn how to initiate conversation. You learn how to make rules together and to follow rules together.
I think back, those were my fondest memories. You know, going out there and just playing, and it gave you the drive and a desire to get better because you saw what was out there. You saw, and no one was standing behind you saying, oh, great shot, or you did that wrong, or you learned on your own. And that's part of growing up, and those are the kinds of things that carry you through life.
But doing that is not so simple. Adult supervised sports are the center of communities across the country, and Port Washington is no exception. My daughter's 6th grade team came with varied basketball skills and would need serious fundamental training. But in many ways, they were my favorite group to work with. They wanted to be together, and they wanted to have fun. Essential ingredients for a youth sports team. Even if sometimes it felt like a big sleepover.
What's the next move? Layla, I come in and everybody come in. I bend and I stretch up. Everybody see the places? I bend and I stretch up.
Practice for the girls was filled with basic drills of dribbling, passing, and thousands of layups. Our team offense was built for everyone to touch the ball with an option to score. We spent hours on the basics, so keeping the girls focused was occasionally a challenge. And I sometimes wondered, who is really in charge here? We have to catch the ball without dribbling. Got me, Layla? Lindsay?
Yeah.
You listen?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
My assistant coach on the team was one of the girls' moms with basketball experience. Her help with the team was invaluable.
So you dribble away from your defense player, right? Defense player, body, ball.
Gotta make the layup! Gotta make the layup!
The only way these kids are physical is with structured play, which I don't think that's great either, but it's good, better, best, so it's better than nothing. But I still think there's a lack of just free movement and play. The one thing that's not great is that today she left at 6:30. She hasn't been home yet. She won't walk in the house till 10 o'clock.
In and out. Spin, fake, go. Layla! Lindsay, you're up.
I play basketball, soccer, field hockey. I dance, volleyball, lacrosse, volleyball. Play piano, softball. I take part in school magazine. I do soccer and I go to Hebrew school. I think that's it.
1, 2, 3. All right, guys, next. 1. Aaron, 2. Good shot. Everybody in here, go. Oh, I go to the post. We're dead. They can't.
The instruction I give my teams today comes from lessons I learned from a coach many years ago. Tony Petracco was my Pee Wee football coach, a team I will never forget.
The lesson I try to teach the kids is teamwork. And I don't know if you remember the technique I used. At the beginning of the season, at our very field practice, I would ask the kids a simple question. What player on the team is the most important player? And of course, every kid raised his hand, knew the answer was quarterback. And I'd say, no, that's not the answer. And I'd explain to them that each individual on a team was critical to the team meeting its goal of scoring a touchdown and moving the ball.
You spoke over and over and over about fundamentals and do your job. And if we don't get it, let's do it right again.
Right.
And if we don't get it, let's do it again.
Right.
Now in this world, we want to go play a game. We don't want to practice so much.
Yeah, that's a mistake.
We don't really want to practice.
Yeah.
Fundamentals matter, but you know what? Let's win the game.
I looked at my record the other day. I was 75-4.
Wow.
And and it was because the kids learned the basics. I'm getting emotional about this. It's amazing. We taught them how to block and tackle and how to play as a team, and that was why we were so successful. And I think to this day, some of those kids still remain good friends because, they grew as a team and they had a good overall experience, and I guess it was lifelong, really.
Well, I had this experience, and this Pee Wee football experience team-wise was better than my high school experience and was better than my college experience.
Interesting.
Going up the ladder doesn't make it better.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be in it 100% for it to mean something.
Bottom line on it all is we're out there to have fun. Let's have fun,
Yeah.
and let's go away with some good lessons for life, and that's what it was all about.
My youngest son Jensen is the same age I was when I started playing for Coach Petracco. I wanted him to have a lasting youth sports experience as well. We agreed to try our unique PAL basketball program in nearby Hempstead. Jensen approached his first practice with anticipation and some butterflies. He was now in the hands of Miss Jackie, the program's director and head coach, a dedicated woman with a stern attitude and a heart full of great intentions.
Okay, because you think I forgot? You owe laps and you owe laps. I owe laps.
I've been a police officer in Hempstead now for 14 and a half years. I've been in law enforcement for 16 years. I've been the PAL director for 7, and I'm all about the children.
For the next couple of days, you guys will run. And run. And run, and run some more. Nobody leaves this gym without us knowing, and my favorite rule is, there is no I in team. Can somebody spell team? Was there an I in it? So if one person screws up, what happens? Everybody messed up.
The first day, our goal is to get the kids into shape. The first 2 weeks. It's about getting rid of the video game fingers and getting the legs in shape.
All right? On the whistle, we going back. Hands behind your head. How much? 10.
Who said how much? Him. Yes.
Slow down. Slow down. Keep that way. Keep one. Right elbow and your right knee go together. See this? Your right knee goes up to the backboard, your right arm goes up. So shoot the ball around the basket, not at it.
I need his report card once he gets it so that we can look at it.
We don't have many programs like this in the village, so it means a lot to me because the kids, even though they're just coming here to play basketball, they still get to learn the basics. She gets to teach them, tell them to make sure they do their homework at home. She's on top of everything. So it means more as far as they get it here, they get educated here, and they also get educated outside of here.
So you can't be in this program unless you do something in school?
You have to. You have to.
And there's a lot of coaches here. There's going to be a lot of talk. But when I talk, is what I say.
If you come in here and you have your pants down below your waist, you will do 500 push-ups before the night is out. 500 push-ups before the night is out. And I will count.
Walking out that first night, I had the feeling that this would be a great experience for both of us, far beyond basketball. What do you think about the running?
I think running's gonna get us stronger, faster, so we don't have to lug all the way down the court.
What do you think about the push-ups and stuff? All the push-ups you guys do in this?
It is gonna get you, somehow it's gonna get you stronger, and you could use that in the game, and then you'll become better.
The biggest thing that I tell all youth coaches all the time is playing time. You got to get these kids enough playing time so they feel they're contributed, they broke a sweat in the game, they've gotten their uniform dirty, and quite frankly, that's what their moms and dads want to see. They really aren't so focused on whether or not the team wins. They want to see whether or not their kid gets in there and plays well.
Can little Billy dribble the ball with his left and right hand better than he did last year? All right? Now, that's not necessarily going to show up on a scoreboard. And even worse, it may be that little Johnny is trying to kick the ball with his left foot and gets it stripped 6 times in a row, right, which is how you learn. And you make mistakes, and next time, maybe that 7th time, you learn to protect the ball so it doesn't get stripped.
So actually trying to win.
Yeah, but if you're trying to win, you're telling little Johnny, don't use that left foot because you may be costing me a goal.
So the win could actually hurt the child in his progression.
It is well known.
Youth sports teams without effective coaching can only hurt our children as they try to develop. One solution might be state certification courses offered by programs such as YSNY. There, coaches attend lectures such as this one we visited, given by program director Tim Donovan.
Who wanted to come here tonight? Okay, you can go home. Everybody else, open your books. There is no social construct, no environment where so many children are governed by unrelated adults who have no common minimum standards of knowledge, safety, training, or practice, as there are in non-school youth sports. So what we've tried to do is create a common language among all of the sports. One of the courses we have is called Teaching Skill Mastery in Anything to Kids. There are powerful forces in our culture that drive parents to try and make their children into something rather than helping them develop into a successful and happy person. How many parents here would like their children to be a role player in this youth baseball program? Very few will raise their hand. Yet, these same people, when they go to employ someone, they're looking for just that, a role player. And a role player is someone who delivers consistently, each time out. They make very few mistakes. They are not in the star system.
They put the team first?
They put their team first, their teammates first. They're thinking about their environment. They are highly valued by us, and we try to get coaches to understand how to help children become role players. We require the best players, quote, the best, most highly developed, most experienced players, to actually engage and play with the kids in the middle. We require it to be mixed up, and mixed together. So, and that actually brings the kids from the middle up. The kids at the bottom see the dream, and they share in that. Mm-hmm. And so programs are built out. The most successful programs, we would call them feeder programs. The most successful programs with the communities that actually embrace it the best, do it that way. And the numbers are huge.
With the right feeder programs, some towns develop youth sports dynasties that get it right year after year. Not just amassing wins, but building a lasting foundation of solid teamwork and community pride. One such dynasty is in West Islip, where their lacrosse program is recognized as one of the best in the country, built entirely with homegrown talent.
What we do is we basically develop teams when they're in 3rd grade. Whatever fathers take over, we let them get a couple of friends together, that type of thing, and we go from there. When you get the involvement of a Little League program and the parents on the Little League age kids, it becomes more of a community project. Instead of it just being a high school team, it's now a community lacrosse program.
Since middle school, everyone kind of stopped playing on the all-star teams and just said, we're going to do this together, and we're going to play summer, winter together. Every season, it's nonstop. It's all year round. So playing all together, it's really incredible.
So the guys, all the guys up in this gym, or most of them you've played with?
Yeah, my whole life.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's team chemistry.
What are you preaching to them, lacrosse-wise and outside lacrosse, on a day-to-day basis?
Lacrosse-wise,
what's the philosophy of the program? And,
check your ego at the door.
Okay.
We're better as a group than we are individually. It's their boys, so they're not playing in that setting where I got to make a name for myself. They're making a name for us.
Right.
So I think that really helps in that regard.
All these years of playing together, it all of a sudden it pays off in huge ways. Like I've been playing with these same guys since first grade. So we go out as a town team and we'll play all these elite teams, and we'll beat most of them just because of the chemistry we have together.
It's like there's nothing like it. I've played for some other teams, like select teams before, but it doesn't compare to this.
We'll go out and play these all-star teams. We got kids from all over Long Island, all this top talent, and they'll think they're all this hot stuff walking onto the field, and then we'll go out there just as a town team, but we all know each other, and we play at a different level just because of how much more we feel on the line. It's our pride. Right. These guys lose, it's a travel team, they don't care. We got West Islip on our shirts since first grade. We represent our town, and it's carried on from there.
That's a very lucky thing you have. Another youth sports dynasty we visited was in the East End town of Bridgehampton, Long Island. Steeped in tradition, it is a modern-day Hoosiers with strong public support and a dynamic coach who was himself once the star of the legendary Bridgehampton Killer Bees. Making the story more amazing is the fact that year after year, the school has around 20 boys, grades 9 through 12, often making Coach Jensen use 8th graders to fill out his roster.
There are students here now that are second, third, fourth generation Bridgehamptons, and maybe third generation Killer Bees. It's a very tight-knit group. Coach Johnson, how many people in New York State have 6 state championships?
When we start with the rookies, that family atmosphere and that enthusiasm that I want to play, I want to wear the black and gold. I want to be a Killer Bee. And that starts when they are 5 and 6 years old. And no one can ever take that away from us.
And as this world gets crazier with youth sports of being on a Super League team or being on an AU team, the town team, the real heart and soul of it, your future high school team gets watered down so terribly that it's not even an exciting experience to go play high school.
AAU ball it benefits a lot of people, but it takes away from the high schools, which that's why I get involved in AAU. Right. But when it comes to Bridgehampton basketball, all my kids rather play here.
To put on the Bridgehampton jersey is like to put on your coat of arms before battle. You're like, all right, guys, this is what we do. This is our history. We need to go out there and win this game. We need to go, and that's really how we feel before every game. We need to live up to what we've been doing for so many years.
The dream of all youth sports athletes and parents is the scholarship. I went to my alma mater to speak with the men's basketball coach Mo Casera and discuss the reality versus the dream from a college coach's perspective.
There's nothing wrong with playing high school basketball. There's nothing wrong with being on a good high school team or an average high school team. I think too much today is too much pressure is put on kids to say, oh, we've got to get a scholarship, we've got to get them this exposure, we've got to get them that. Their talents and abilities will take care of that if they're good enough. The biggest thing, Robbie, that I see now is I think kids have lost the value of winning. They've lost the importance of winning because they play so many games. And They might play 2-3 games in a day, and they might lose a tough game in the morning, and then they're going to come back and play another game in the afternoon, and they just quickly lose or forget about what might have gone wrong or what maybe they didn't do to win as a team, or maybe they didn't do individually to help their team win. The emphasis of team, the emphasis of individual work, the emphasis of skill development. I think you're seeing that across college basketball now. I mean, there's so much parity. Kids and teams that play together, the Butlers, the VCUs, the George Masons, the Gonzagas of the world, they don't necessarily have the top 100 players on their team, but they've got teams and they've got guys who have high character and know how to play.
The 7th grade boys team was having a good season, with everyone contributing and everyone improving.
I just wanted to compliment you on your substitution patterns, Coach, getting everybody in the game and everything. It's nice to see in a time that a lot of teams don't do that. A lot of 7th grade teams don't do that.
I appreciate, it's funny you say that because we're doing this film now. And for me, 7th grade basketball is not a time for me to tell a kid that he's not as good as another kid.
Absolutely.
And we're not all going to the NBA. We're all trying to make our 8th grade teams, right? So
absolutely.
It's a 50-50 split. Win, lose, or draw. The kids understand it. So it works out nice.
I think it makes a big difference in the way that they play too.
They play hard.
The kids have confidence. They're not scared to play.
That's it. They know you're getting half the game. You do your best, and I appreciate that because we think that's important message sent to the kids. And who wants to watch a game with 6th, 7th grade boys and the kids sitting there? We see it every day. We know, but I appreciate it.
I see it with 4th graders and 5th graders. So it's a pleasure to see.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot.
One snowy Sunday afternoon, we played a home game against the CYO team, coached by a strong AAU advocate. I saw it as an opportunity to contrast our styles on the court.
This is beautiful because we got a good ball game, and we have to play well to win this game. This is beautiful.
Jake, we're running X. Only run X.
It's old, man. They've been doing it since 1920.
Aaron, take care. Drew, take a charge. Let him run into you. Good game. Shake hands and go on the bench.
After the game, I spoke with two gentlemen with very contrasting views on the current state of youth basketball.
If you don't play AAU, you're not going to get seen. Who's going to see you? You could play CYO, right, and then be a phenom in your high school, but once someone hears about you, an AAU program is coming for your kid.
Right.
Like you have 3 or 4 great ones. I'm surprised they're not knocking all over your door.
No. Couple. I got a couple of guys.
No, because I'm going to be calling you.
I think I understand where Coach McMillan's coming from. Their goal is to get these kids a college education. Basketball is the way to get to it. Absolutely agree with him. However, the numbers just don't relate. There's a point guard camp for high school kids, and one of the top coaches in the country was talking as a guest speaker, and he said, there are 2,000 kids here of you in the camp. Only 3 of you are going to be in the NBA. Every kid looked around and said, which are the other 2? So my view is that what you saw today on the CYO program is a far greater learning experience for the kids, versus AAU, where it's not basketball. They press full court all game long. They play a zone defense. No one's being taught fundamentals. No one's being taught how to play defense. No one's taught how to be unselfish in offense. All they care about is my time and my exposure to the coaches, and that's the way it is.
About 100,000 boys and girls high school basketball players graduate each year, all vying for the coveted scholarship. Let's do the math. 616 schools, with an average of about 3 scholarships to give per year, equals roughly 1,848 scholarships annually. 100,000 candidates means less than 2% of these athletes will achieve the scholarship dream. And let's not forget the international players that make that figure even smaller.
CYO promotes good sportsmanship by our athletes, coaches, officials, and spectators.
You represent your parish and community and should do so with dignity, honor, and pride during all games.
Don't foul him, don't foul him. Exit, exit!
We took our medicine pretty good. I think it was 20-4 was the final.
Yes.
So there was 4 points scored in the game by St. Pete's, which means Thursday we got to get busy on offense.
She loves coming here. As you see, it's late at night.
She enjoys it?
Yeah, I mean, she's tired, but she puts her shorts on and comes out. Yeah, I know she has her chart, the wins and losses. She has the score and everything.
Good, Jamie, wait for him. Wait for him. Reverse it. F.
Bucket! Bucket! As the old saying goes, practice makes perfect. And through their persistence, the girls were getting better.
I'm always here, and here's the defense player, and here is here. So you look open like here, but since I'm here, I see a defense defender, and then you.
I hate that because the Julia gets mine, so then they pass it to me, then she runs back to me, and then I'm so confused.
Shoot it, shoot it. Good job. Way to go, Blue. Hey, we played 1,000,000 times better than last week on Tuesday, right? That was an excellent job. We're going to shake these girls' hands. We're going to say good game, right?
Good game, good game. Unbelievable game, girl.
Tough loss, but pretty good game we played. Girls did a good job.
You see the kids, how they put their heart and soul into everything. I'm a firm believer of that. I think it shows the kids good values, what hard work can do. And I thought both teams played extremely hard. I thought it was one of the better games with not as many fouls and as many violations.
Right.
I think the dark side is the parents. Is what the parents, they live vicariously through their kids. And you hear them yelling and screaming, and not just at the referees or the coaching not playing them, it's just they're yelling at their own kids, and the kids aren't paying attention to the game or the coach. They're so worried about mom and dad making a fool out of themselves on the side of the court.
Some of the parents were successful as kids or were not successful as kids, and it caused them pain. So they want to make sure their kids don't experience that pain. And you know, parents work out they want the best for their children. But what they need for themselves is separate from what their children need.
Parents really don't care if the team wins or loses, so long as when they go to watch the games, their kid's getting a lot of action. Right. And of course, a lot of moms and dads will sort of assume that if the team's only so-so, the team will do better if my kid gets more action.
When I was the director of admissions at C.W. Post College, I had a person in the neighborhood call me and ask me if I knew of anybody who tutored the SATs in math in particular. And I had a number of friends, and my wife works at a college, and I got the name of somebody that would tutor this child, and they were very appreciative, hung up the phone, and about 10 minutes later, my phone rings, and it's the same person. And they say, Steve, I hate to bother you, but I'm going to ask you to do me a favor and not give the name of that tutor to any other child in the neighborhood, because they wanted the edge.
How much influence should parents have on how a community team is run? My neighbor, Rich Steigman, coached his son's U11 and U12 soccer team to 3 out of 4 winning seasons. And yet, he too had to deal with parental pressure.
My father taught me when I was 9 years old at playing point guard in basketball that an assist was as good as a basket. And not only was I a pass-first 9-year-old point guard, but I really believe those lessons made me a better lawyer. But it is still, my kid is special. I don't want to hear about the rules that you want to impart on this team. I can nod and say, okay, yes, I'm very glad you're teaching the kids these things. I'm glad you're teaching them that teamwork is important and sacrificing for the team is what matters. Yes, you're doing a wonderful job, but how come my kid only played 22 minutes and the kid who's not as good as him played 24? You know that's not right. The 4th season that I coached, and you started to see some changes with the boys. One of the kids that I just wasn't doing what he needed to do to be a good teammate actually shoved one of the smaller kids who confronted this kid about his practice habits and he wasn't warming up properly. When I told the parents about this, that this was really coming to the end of the line now, he put his hands on another kid. That parent's response was, you shouldn't be the coach next year. And I resigned.
I grew up in Hempstead. I lived here for 26 years before I moved out. And I didn't experience anything similar to what our young people experience today. My mom always had me in activities, whether it was youth group or Girl Scouts. I was always busy. But when I was growing up, it was a different time. You could leave your doors open. The sad part, even with us doing what we do as kids in any of the youth groups, I only have you for 2 hours. You still got to walk back into your environment. And if I haven't affected you enough to say, you know what, I'm going to walk past this group and I'm not going to speak to them, it's not going to make a difference. Mama, you watching this, right? Yes, I'm watching, baby. Come on, Jerry!
No pressure.
No
pressure.
Easy shot. So I get to beat you for last week Friday if you miss both shots. There's pressure! Pressure! Pressure's on!
I've been here for about 6 or 7 years now, so Ms. Jackie expects me to teach everyone else as a beginner to, push themselves.
Hold your hands up and be ready.
I like it. Stay wide, Edgar. Stay wide.
So it's easy. Inside the paint, outside the paint.
You just do a little bit at a time. Boom, you'd be surprised. Look at this. Let me see. Yeah, boy.
Proud of you today. You did very well.
Jack's impressed. He finally gave me a thumbs up.
Kids need a place to just express themselves.
Completely.
And basketball is a great place to express yourself, even if you do nothing but stand around and yell all day. It's just a place to express yourself.
Right.
And they like that. If you come in that gym, yes ma'am, no ma'am, I know you're getting it already. I don't have to worry about you so hard.
Right.
If you come in that gym and you're like, sucking your teeth, no, right. We don't suck our teeth.
Billy!
Excuse me. Okay, you're gonna have to pull it together, okay? Respect-wise, yes. I'm going to take you outside and do what your grandmother would like for me to do to you, okay? Yes. And then I will bring you in here and embarrass you in front of everybody.
You guys ready?
After a few weeks of drills and exercise, we were ready to play games. I coached the red team, which included my son Jensen.
We know the zone defense we're playing, right? Let's go.
This community program was all-inclusive, never turning away a child who wanted to play. As a result, the teams were co-ed and mixed players of various ages and skills. This setup naturally stressed teamwork and fundamentals instead of wins. A boy on my team named Billy represented some of the challenges of the program. Helping some kids to shake off their streetwise attitude their tough environment had taught them, and instead embrace the team concept. I knew I would have to make an extra effort to keep him engaged.
Nigel, get up here. Billy, up here. That's the second time I asked you. I'm not asking you again. Get up here and listen, okay? I don't want to hear anything negative. We will get better. We will know where to pass. We will know how to play defense. This is no big deal, all right?
Everybody here is on the same team, okay? So get your head up, and we'll do better on Friday.
Most kids want discipline and they want a hug. You know, like I said, we can have you for 2 hours, but I still got to put you back in that same spot. I would love to see all the kids just move on and graduate. I'm not really asking them for much, just to be respectful. Learn that when you come in the building, you take off your hat. Learn that when you're talking to someone, you look them in the eye. Just basics. I'm not asking them to be a superstar. I'm just asking them to learn the basics to survive in life.
Throughout the girls' 6th grade season, they kept their enthusiasm, and while not always winning, it was clear they enjoyed the experience. My favorite play of the season was Layla's lefty dribble from half court for a layup. Those thousands of layups in practice finally paid off.
On 3, court. 1, 2, 3. Court! Way to go, ladies.
All season, we used our 10 to 50 offense, which was 5 consecutive options for getting a layup. I promised the girls that if they ever made it to 50, I would take everyone into Manhattan for a pizza party.
We're going to the city, folks. You just got a 50.
Girls played hard, they're playing competitive. It's a positive thing, and we're winning some games and losing some games and doing our thing. I think it's all good. They like each other. They have fun in practice. There's absolutely not a bone of selfishness in any of them. Their season could be told not by wins and losses, but by simple numbers. Game 1, 4 points. Game 5, 10 points. Game 12, 34 points. If fun and improvement are the keys to a youth sports season, the girls get an A+.
Biologically, neurologically, name all the sciences you can. This is well documented for decades. Is athletic ability prior to puberty is a meaningless indicator of athletic ability post-puberty.
If your child doesn't want to play a team sport, try to understand what that's about. Is it because they really don't have the motor coordination? Is it because socially they're shy? Is it something that you can help your child work through and come out the other side and be a better person for it? Or are you deciding you need to do this because I loved it when I was a kid and I think you could be the best?
Basically, they're really thinking my kid is showing some flashes of athletic brilliance at an early age. Maybe my kid is the next Michael Jordan or the next Mia Hamm. So they would not say this, but maybe my kid will sign for millions and millions of dollars. Right. But at the very least, they're going to get a college scholarship.
That's the easy way out.
Yeah.
That's in the books already, right?
That's a done deal.
That's amazing. The math of chasing a sports scholarship just didn't add up. To set the record straight, I sought out Chris Agostino, the longtime basketball coach at Harbor Fields High School. We are looking here at the 2011-2012 All-Long Island basketball team. How many of these players received a Division I scholarship?
One of them, Lucas Woodhouse, Harbor Fields High School, Longwood University.
The 10 best players on Long Island, and we have one Division I player from Long Island that year.
One Division I player.
His senior year, he averaged 12 assists a game. That's an unheard of number.
Yeah.
You don't get that. You don't get that in the NBA.
Yeah.
You don't get that in college. You don't get that anywhere. 12 assists a game.
Yeah.
And when he didn't like the individuality of AAU basketball,
Right.
think about that.
Right.
It's crazy. I think what happens is, the AAU saw the dollar sign and they ran with it. They had to. It's a business. If I'm a businessman and I want to make money, I got to sell. And so they sold it. And their idea was right. They wanted to get kids to play more basketball at a different level, but it didn't work out that way. It became such a cutthroat business, and it became a business of, what have you done for me lately? Because if you can't help me, I can't use you, and then you're going to be back on the page scale.
And that's not sports.
No.
That's not sports. That's not team sports. That's
business.
But the pay-to-play dream is a product of big business. Many AAU programs have so-called elite teams. These teams are often free, but they recruit only the best of the best, leaving the other 99% to pay for the privilege of wearing their uniforms. I visited the gym of the Long Island Panthers, a local elite team run by Gary Charles, an established figure in the youth sports game. He told me how he was instrumental in helping recruit Kobe Bryant into the NBA, the first guard ever to be drafted directly out of high school. This was made possible by a guaranteed deal with Adidas, a negotiation Gary Charles helped broker through his relationship with Kobe's father.
The dad was the college coach at LaSalle at the time. And so even though he was a college coach, but because he had his son playing, the rules are you can go see your son whenever you feel like.
And what was the dad's nickname?
Jelly Bean, baby. Because my boy Jelly Bean would be at the tournaments all the time, and he was recruit one of my guys, so we became really close.
Okay.
And I said, Joe, I love your son. I think he's got a chance. Fast forward, Kobe ends up signing with Adidas, his first contract, because of the relationship that we had. At that point, Nike made a concerted effort and said, that's not gonna happen anymore. Let's go out there, sponsor a whole bunch of teams that have these great players so we can get that next great player.
They want to market everybody.
They want to market everybody.
All the top kids as young as they could get to.
There you go. So now when you say, what is it that they want?
Yes.
They want that next Michael Jordan, that next Kobe Bryant. This is what they wanted. So that's how they got involved with the grassroots, and that's why they're still involved.
And to get the next Michael Jordan or to get the next Kobe Bryant, they want to canvas the country of basketball players as best they can.
There you go. The best that they can, identify them early. So whether that program goes all the way to 10, Nike or Adidas don't care. Their main thing is that we're sponsoring your program because you have that main program. So what you do with your gear and your money, that's
so
on
whether
you.
the next kid is in the 17s or in the 12s, we don't care.
We don't care.
We sponsor you.
Because
you
we
do
believe
your
in
money.
you. You go handle your business and go get us that next superstar. What's happening is that there's so many parents and so many kids who are chasing that dream, and they feel that the only way they can do it is that particular organization, they have to join that organization, pay for it to get the opportunity, because maybe they're not good enough maybe to join those elite teams who are not paying for it. When I first got involved, high school was very prominent, but then there were a lot of shaky things going on in high school, so the NCAA changed the rules that tilted toward grassroots basketball. See, people don't know that.
What was going on in high school?
Well, guys cutting deals.
Okay.
People are people.
Okay.
So too many deals were being cut in high school, so the rules got changed.
Meaning high school going to college?
Meaning that high school coaches were cutting deals with college coaches.
Okay.
So they didn't like all the things that was going on.
Yes.
They said, hey, wait a minute, the high school coaches then at that time had too much power.
So now the AAU guys cut it with the college coaches.
So now they're saying the AAU guys are cutting the deal.
Right.
My point is,
Exactly.
but here's the issue though.
Okay.
The NCAA don't understand.
Okay.
You can't cut deals unless you have a willing partner.
Correct.
It's a two-way street.
Takes two to tango, my friend.
Takes two to tango. When we grew up, we won a competition. So what did? We went to the next park, we got on our bike, went to the next town. That's what we did.
Yeah, but that was pure and perfect.
That was pure and perfect.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Exactly. But now what's happening is these kids are saying, well, I still want to get that chance. Okay, see, you can't blame the guy. I guess maybe the person was doing it totally because the parents are old enough to know right from wrong, and they say, well, like you said, my kids don't want to play. So if I have to pay for this to do it, this is what I'm going to do, because you know what? I want to get the opportunity to play against that elite guy. Now what's happening is that because so many kids are playing, People are taking advantage of it. Now they're building gyms around Long Island, especially Long Island. And you get what I'm saying. It's a suburb. You got kids that people
But
are
Long
going to pay.
Island is Westchester.
Westchester.
It's Chicago suburbs.
Okay.
It's California suburbs.
Okay, so what am I saying? Who's doing it?
So really, really the people
so
are
who's
getting
doing it?
fleeced.
Who's doing it?
Right. The funny thing is, no question. This Long Island, with these parents, with some money in their pockets.
There you go.
It's fertile to take all their money, let their kids play 100 games, and they get cut in 8th grade.
There you go.
They can't make their
They can't make the
team.
J. Okay, so now those are the ones that's doing it. I'm just keeping it real here. My point is that, man, we're sitting there spending all this money. We're traveling all over the country with kids. 8, 9, 10-year-old kids. I mean,
too much.
It's just too much.
I agree. On 3, red. 1, 2, 3.
Red!
Jensen fit in well at the Hempstead program, where they were learning and playing together. Even Billy had bought into the team concept. Good job, my friend. Matthew, you shoot that shot that foul line. You can make that shot next time, okay? That's good work. The championship game was awesome. The opposing team took the lead with 9 seconds left. But Jensen, our point guard, instructs his teammate to take the ball out fast, and he dribbles down the court full speed and takes the shot at the buzzer. This one didn't go in, but I wouldn't bet against him on his next buzzer beater.
Good game, guys. I thought that was a good shot. It was in, matter of fact, but it did this. That was a good shot. You could have tied it up. I know.
At a small award ceremony, the team celebrated their experience together one last time.
I think I had a great team, and all the players were really nice to me, even though I was new.
I was proud of my son. At the end of the season, he was no longer an outsider, but was part of a team.
You're a little short to be in the corner over there. And don't stay in one corner. Run this way, run back out, run this way. Because you are the point. Very good. See you later.
Really good.
In the end, all the running and push-ups did make him a better player. But the experience of just being here will certainly make him a better adult.
People always talk about, of course, the intangibles. But yeah, I do believe those are critically important that go far beyond the playing career. Learning how to bounce back from adversity, which I think is a huge life skill. Learning confidence in mastering a skill. I mean, there was a time, I'm sure, that in your early years you probably had a hard time reaching, throwing a ball in a basket. But you began to master it bit by bit by bit. That's a great feeling. And the third thing, of course, is that after you've mastered skills, and again with a team sport, having those fond memories. When you talk to athletes who have played for a long, long time, it's not so much they remember the wins and losses, they remember their teammates.
Right.
Those are the things they care about. Oh, we had great times. I love those guys.
Right.
And I think those three things, to me, are the ultimate lifelong lessons.
I think the parents are so involved in their child's life that they don't want them to experience anything negative. And the only way you learn about how to deal with things in life is to learn what failure is like.
Kids don't have the experience of failing, so they don't develop the coping skills when they don't make it to the finish line. It's like you don't get into your first choice college, but your second choice is really where you belonged and you were happy there. So kids need to know how to fail.
My 20 years plus in this business has been fairly simple. One, I'm trying to get adult ego out of youth sports. I'm trying to put the youth ego back in youth sports. They're the ones that count. Now what we've got is the parents taking the kids to these road games. But instead of playing within your community, where you tend as a parent to know the kids on both sides of the game, and probably the parents on both sides of the game, where it tends to be community and you know little Johnny and they're playing against and they're having a blast. Now you go away to West Podunk and you don't know any of those people. They're the same people as you. They've got kids running around playing soccer. But now it becomes pride, town pride, my team's pride. And all of a sudden you ratchet up the blood pressure a bit because it's no longer just Podunk kids playing against Podunk kids. Now we're playing West Podunk. And there's no way I'm going to go back to the barbecue tonight and say my 10-year-old soccer kids lost to West Podunk 3-2.
Right.
So we're going to coach the heck out of this game.
You want to?
Playoffs, take one.
Yeah.
The 7th grade boys advanced to the playoffs. There was apprehension in the air, but I liked our chances.
Let's bring it in here, boys. On 3, all in. Let's get them now.
1, 2, 3.
All in! Let's go. As the game against an undersized but scrappy and competitive St. Mark's team began, we pulled ahead to a small lead. You could feel the playoff tension on the floor and in the bleachers.
Hey!
Baseline, reverse it. Evan, good shots.
In the 4th quarter, our lead grew to 8 points.
I need a play here, buddy. No, but you're not doing fucking good passes. What are you doing, bro? What are you really doing? I need you. Adam, let's go.
Full white, full blue. Okay, and then both ejected from the game.
Easy, guys. Easy, guys, easy. Guys, 7th grade basketball. Come on, stop. What are we doing, boys? Listen. Let's set up baseline, let's run it correctly, and let's try to win the game. Boys, someone has to step up. Someone has to step up.
We had lost our composure, and St. Mark's finished the game making one excellent play after another. a buzzer beater was too late. Season over.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you kidding me? I'm sorry. You kidding me? Don't let this loss, stop you. Don't let you grow. Okay? You think that. I mean, listen, what am I going to tell you? They're a great group of kids. You know, with the intensity and the speed of the game gets them crazy, and that's part of it. They can't control it. So we will talk about this at length, all right? We can do it when we get home. We can do it. I don't even know whatever you want to do it, all right? Yeah. Come down here right now.
After coaching my 3 children, along with hundreds of others, here are some of the thoughts I would like to pass along. If your child is one of the best players on his or her team, talk about leadership and building up teammates, not about an elite program 4 towns away. Consistent practice over time is the only way to become the best player you can be. Playing game after game only promotes the same bad habits. And as John Wooden would say, activity does not equal achievement. Equal playing time for every kid on your team is important. It keeps all the kids engaged and makes all the wins and losses a true team effort. One team, one sport per season makes sense. Does your child take 3 math classes in the same semester? Don't scream at the officials. They generally ref better than your kid plays. Smart parents drop their kids off at practice and go get a cup of coffee. Helicopter parents make their kids nervous and often hinder the child's ability to improve. As a coach, ask yourself, what memories of the season are you leaving the kids? Try and make them positive. My oldest is on to high school sports. My time coaching him is over. It happens in a blink of an eye, so enjoy it. As the seasons change, so do the sports. Kids move on to the next activity with little time to dwell on wins and losses. That's something only we adults have the luxury of doing. I don't know if we can ever go back to the days of unstructured play, but I do hope that youth sports can recapture its sense of community. But that can only happen with help from you and me. And after their hectic youth sports days are over, hopefully our children will still remember the friends they played with and the fun they had together. After all, isn't that what childhood is all about? My daughter and her friends came back to play together another year, but we still haven't made our trip to the city. The girls' schedules are just too busy. Jensen joined the local CYO basketball program and is proud to play for his community. I know his time in Hempstead taught him a lot about teamwork. And and I hope it will shape his life the way my youth sports experience shaped mine. The 7th grade A team returned bigger and stronger and became the 8th grade A team. They were ready for high school, making this the last time I would coach them and my son. And by the way, at the end of the season we played St. Mark's again in a rematch of last year's playoff game. And this time, we won.